Hi, everybody. Welcome back and happy Monday. Guys, I'm so excited to be back here in our house where we can record and have a camera on. Listen, Jason and I got back on Saturday from Orlando. We had a fantastic trip with our friends, and it was kind of like a pre-birthday trip. It was a post-birthday trip for him, but like a pre-one for me. And as great as that is, there's nothing like being at home with your babies. Now, with that, on top of that, yesterday was my birthday and we had an amazing day. Jason and my mother-in-law, my mom, and our friends, they made it really, really special. But now it's Monday, which means it's time to jump in to Hot Messy Topics. And we haven't seen you guys in a freaking minute. So this makes me even more excited. If you guys haven't, go ahead, pop off in the comment section or the live chat. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know maybe even what you did for 4th of July. That's cool too. And yeah, let's welcome Jason. Here we go. Hello.
Hi, happy Monday.
Oh, and I didn't say, you guys, Jason is sick as hell.
So very too much traveling in a short period of time. We have so much traveling coming up that it's going to be crazy.
So I know Jason this morning, he reminded me of Emily from Devil Wears Prada when they're doing like the Met Gala kind of scene.
Oh my
and she's
God.
sitting there sneezing and she's like, by all means, this incubus of whatever. Yeah, Jason's really sick, you guys. So thank you, Jason, for joining us.
Yeah, hell yeah, let's go.
All right. By the way, when did this happen? Like, you just got sick this morning.
I know, it's insane. It's just sleep. But let's not talk about me being sick. Let's talk about some topics. Because we got some fun ones today.
Okay. We do have some really fun ones, guys. I'm just gonna honestly, I have a lot of videos to play for you guys. And we're just gonna react and kind of get our takes on them because a lot of the topics stem from reaction videos. So here we go. Let's just get this shit started. I'm actually, okay.
What's happening? What's going on?
Sorry. I saw this. I hadn't seen it since yesterday. Okay. So, guys, I don't know if you saw this, but Brandi Glanville is accusing or claiming or whatever she's doing, trying to get attention for sure, Kyle Richards of being a secret producer on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Now, she's claiming that friends have told her this. She's claiming that some members of Kyle's family have told her this. And it's interesting. I have two kind of theories, like where this weighs on me, and I'll say them after. But let's just play the clip. Brandi girl. Oh.
I don't know if you recognize me with it's a new look. It's Brandi Glanville. What? Oh, do you think it's over? Like, how many more times can we get in fights at like restaurants? I think back in the day it was real. And I think what you have to understand about this fucking show that I love so fucking much, it didn't ruin my life at fucking all. Is that it's not what they show, it's what they don't show. So they could show me
what is going on with
fuck you stupid cunt, which I wish I had said that C word. I'm like, fuck was the bad word when I was doing it. I was trash for saying fuck, and now I just wish I said fucking cunt all over. It's like the fact that, by the way, they pushed you and threw you down the stairs, and then you're saying it, but they don't show that you're getting pushed and thrown down the stairs. And I'm pretty sure that Kyle is a producer, so she gets an easy cut. That's been kind of the gossip, and plus some of her family told me. That's big T. All right, happy birthday, bitch.
This really, she looks terrible.
Yeah, I thought I didn't feel great. Now I feel even worse. But what is she doing here? Like, what is the point of saying any of this?
So she was doing a cameo. Well, she was doing a cameo for somebody, but I think at this point, one, I don't know if anybody's even trusting what she's saying. But what I was going to say to you is Monica from Salt Lake City, her and I have had this conversation before, and she's under the impression she thinks that maybe Lisa Barlow has some sort of producer credit because she was instrumental in putting the original cast together.
As Kyle was in Beverly Hills.
Kyle was.
As Nene was in Atlanta. And I think it was mentioned before that originally they might have had some kind of producer credit, right? But they don't show that producer credit.
Right. So I guess you would have just a little bit more input. But then Bethany Frankel, one of her biggest complaints was when they wanted her to come back, she wanted a producer credit. And they said that we can't give you a producer credit because that doesn't keep the playing field even. So that's
Well,
where
I mean, it's not an even playing field, right? You think about it, because some of the ladies do have other relationships, other friends they can bring onto the show. I'm thinking now in my head, if Bethany Frankel was given a producer credit, that we might still have a good Real Housewives of New York.
Okay. All right. Let's just, yeah, you're right. You're right.
I mean,
By
but
the
it
way-
wouldn't, it's not like tea. Like, I think that is
Well, no,
possible.
if she
that
is a
Kyle
producer,
Richards
that's
could have
tea.
some kind of producer credit. That wouldn't even, like, to be honest, that wouldn't even surprise me. You know, the show was built around her and her sister and everything like that. Atlanta was built around Nene. You know, you have the newer shows were kind of structured around. I've also heard the same thing about Lisa Barlow, that she kind of put together the cast for Salt Lake City. So it wouldn't surprise me that they have some kind of, maybe not, they're not like, let's say, a producer, but maybe they have some kind of I don't know, say and stuff. Maybe not when it comes to filming or editing and stuff like that. But
I don't like it.
But maybe when it comes to, oh, check out this person, or I think, you know, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. So we're going to take this over to something else, because you guys know that this has been, I think, over 2 years that we have been fighting the Morocco Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. Caroline Manzo versus Brandi Glanville. Brandi's whole life went to shit after this lawsuit, as you guys can see. She said that she has a parasite crawling in her face. She says that she's completely broke. She said that she has been blacklisted from every reality television opportunity. And I think at this point, she might even be living with one of her friends. I'm not sure. So her life tanked. Okay. Now,
man,
the other accusation was that maybe Caroline, maybe it was the brownstone or something like that. People were saying that there was some tax issues, that people were behind on taxes. I don't know this to be fact, but there were people in Jersey that were claiming this is why Caroline Manzo went through with this lawsuit, because maybe they could have made a lot of money off of it. And then it came out that while battling it out in court, Bravo versus Caroline Manzo, they had to play all 7 episodes in the court and show them what was going on this show. So we do have 7 episodes of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. And I was just curious, if you guys don't remember, Vicki Gunvalson was on the show, and Vicki Gunvalson has a pod with Christian Snow. And this is what she had to say about it.
Out recently some of the court documents into Caroline Bravo of it all, and it was shown that Bravo has all 7 episodes edited and ready to go with confessionals. And people are kind of thinking that maybe if they are able to get the case dismissed, this is their way of saying, like, we want to, because I think it will help their case also ultimately if they can release the episodes.
I was there. I saw it. Nothing happened. And whatever Caroline claims, it's all clear on camera. She loved every minute of it. So there you go.
How excited would you be if it came out they were releasing the episodes?
Well, it was a great period of time for 7, 8 days. Us girls just connected. We loved on each other, and we had a great time. And in fact, one of the executives with Shed Media said, "You are the MVP of this series."
Okay, girl.
Opportunity. I said, "Why?" She goes, "Because you kept everything going."
Listen, she said, they don't call me the OG for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
And I felt really proud of that. It was nice to hear it from somebody that didn't have to.
Okay. I don't even know what we're talking about at that point.
Well, I mean, now we're making it about Vicki, like as usual.
It's always.
But do you remember, Adam, when this was like 2 years ago, or whenever the story was starting to come out, we got a call from somebody in Brandi's camp that was saying, we can't tell you things. We can't tell you everything because of legality, but nothing that is coming out is true. And I was on the phone with this person for an hour. You were on the phone with this person for an hour. And we were kind of going back and forth.
That was such a waste of my time, by the way. But yes.
Totally. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Vicki. Give it a second.
No, I mean, it was a waste of my time because I sat on the phone for an hour, you guys, with the promise of getting an interview. It was like I was being vetted to interview Brandi Glanville, which is like,
I mean, that's what they wanted
in the world.
They wanted that, but legally you can't do that. Like while they're going through everything, but it was very convincing. And I was like, wow, but the thing is we get calls, emails, things all the time where people will tell us something that's not true and it turns out to be true. So we're really cautious on like how do you put a story out, or which interview we should take, or whatever it is. But man, it gets it gets really messy over in Housewives Central, and I think it's kind of nice to see that. I think she was right. I really don't think Brandi. I'm sure it was like, we've talked about this a million times. It was just probably a drunk night, having fun, and
she was embarrassed. She was embarrassed because she has to go back to Jersey. Yeah. No, I think that's exactly what happened. I think that Brandi, I don't think that Brandi did anything wrong more than what she already does on the shows, period. Like, she gets drunk, she gets shit-faced, she rips off people's clothes, she says inappropriate things, she is sloppy, she's messy, she is all of the things, but that's what literally gave her longevity on reality TV. Nothing changed about her. You know what I mean?
No.
But she's also
But I think, what changes though, Adam, is I think people stop enjoying that over and over and over again. It's just like, okay, we're done with Brandi. We've had enough. Like, there's no other nuances. There's no other things with her. It's just like that crazy kind of, personality. So I think people, and then it also becomes too, sorry to interrupt you, but it becomes like, oh, she's kind of unhinged. So she's not telling the truth, or she's, of course we could believe that she would do that. You know what I mean? So it's easy to pin against her, even if she didn't do it.
That's the thing. It's optics in this situation. Caroline Manzo is a respected figurehead in her community. She's a matriarch of her family. You've never seen a wild drunk moment from her on TV. She has always really kept her cool unless you attacked her family. She's always been respected in that way. And then the other one is a complete clown. So when this came out, you're going to believe the respected one over who's the perceived clown.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's what happened. Yeah. Okay.
I agree.
So moving on. Guys, I don't know what is going on in Miami. I'm going to bring it back to lawsuits and casting in a minute, but I want to talk about Miami for a second for three reasons. One, I don't know what the hell is going on with you guys in the ratings. I don't know why people are not watching the show. It is getting really good. Stephanie Shojay has entered the chat. She does not care. She says whatever she wants, and she is officially the richest housewife that we have ever seen on Bravo. I love that. Okay.
Is that ever or current?
Ever.
Ooh, wow.
Even more than Adrienne Maloof, who had the team.
I was thinking about Nina Ali, not Adrienne Maloof. But...
Yep. Nope. Even richer than Nina Ali. Now, so what's interesting to me about this is that the ratings aren't good, but what I really wanted to talk about was I never understood why Dr. Nicole Martin ended up leaving the show. I was like, why are you leaving when it seems like it's given you a great platform? She was a good housewife, and it kind of seemed like she enjoyed it. Not that she needed the money, because if you guys don't remember, her and her fiance, Anthony, they sold their home for, I think, $50 million to Jeff Bezos' parents in Miami, and then bought another home. And then I think that they did construction on that. Point is they're rich. They don't need the money. But she ended up going on with Dr. Tiffany Moon. Yeah, Dr. Tiffany Moon. Yep. And she shared that Marisol Patton's shady ass ended up getting a private investigator. Hold on. Thank you to Bravo Snarkside. Let me play the clip.
When we started putting the pieces together, we're like, what is happening? Why are we being followed? One of my castmates confessed to me that the other castmate had told her that she had hired a private investigator because she wanted to move from a friend role to a full-time role. And she felt like if she had this secret, this secret, and she could drop this bomb, that would be the thing she needed to level up her friend status.
That is wild, so wild, evil, vindictive. I can't.
And that was
someone did that to me.
And so I was starting to have a lot of anxiety filming, because for me, I was like, these are not my friends. Well, at least not everybody. I'm not speaking about the whole cast. I'm speaking about certain members of the cast, because Julia and I were very good friends. Adriana, Gertie's one of my very, very good friends. Lisa, like I had beautiful friendships with some of these women, but some of them were really antagonistic and were really out for blood or for, you know, this aha moment.
Okay.
When we started.
The sum of them, she left out 2 people.
Followed. One of my castmates confessed to me that the.
Okay. So I feel like that's taking the show too far, though. I feel like when you start getting to the point where now you're hiring PIs, and a lot of people were giving Marisol Patton shit for this after this clip came out. But then I was like, guys, I don't know if you remember the whole reason that Britt Eady from the Real Housewives of Atlanta is suing Bravo for $20 million is because Kenya Moore claimed that she hired a private investigator to look into her. This is like, when did the Real Housewives become like, it's like the Real Housewives of shit, shade, and shitty ratings
and criminals. It's insane. You know, first of all, I think it would have been so amazing to have Dr. Nicole Martin, a lot of people, you know, in this season, because a lot of people wanted to see her with Stephanie Giudice since, you know, Anthony used to date her. But the thing is like, they don't even really know each other. And it would have, I think, just been kind of great because they might have been able to team up a little bit. And I thought that would be good. And, but yeah, well, it's like a little too much. And I think that, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say Stephanie Giudice spoke out and she said that she really likes Dr. Nicole Martin and that she dated him 20 years ago. She's like, that.
I know, but you know how they like to make it a thing, right? For TV. This has to be way in your contract. You can't hire private investigators. It's the point where we're not watching real lives anymore. And most of these housewives aren't married, so they're not housewives, which I think does make the show also great because we like to watch housewives have businesses and a lifestyle. Now it's like, I need that gotcha moment like Dr. Nicole was talking about on the podcast. We need this heightened season. Someone needs to go to jail. There needs to be some type of scandal, you know? Yeah. And it's kind of getting to the point, I think, where they need to let up on that a little bit. Because if you think about Miami right now, they gave us what in the first 4 episodes? Everything.
A lot.
Divorce, weddings, messy friendships. And
no, they did.
And then you drop Stephanie Giudice episode 4, and we haven't even started with that. Miami doesn't need something like that. That's why I enjoy Miami, because it's not full of criminal. Well, it might be full of criminals. We don't know, but it's not full of criminals. It's their lifestyle. It's their interactions. It's their friend group that makes it interesting. And I think if they would slow down and focus on that a little more, Housewives might still be successful.
You know, yes. No, I completely agree with you on that. And with Stephanie Giudice also coming in, I saw like the preview clip for this week's episode, and they're all sitting on a Sprinter bus. They've been sitting there for like 2 hours. And do you remember on the reunion when Lisa Hochstein came out and she was like, did you already see the clip?
No.
Oh, I can't play it, obviously, copyright. But do you remember on the reunion when Lisa Hochstein came out and she's like, hello? And Andy's like, we get it. Enough. Sit down. Let's go.
Yeah, sit down, girl. We got to go.
Like, he was pissed. And she's like,
because you have a whole
jewelry on?
Yeah, you can't put your jewelry on, girl, because you got a whole freaking soundstage of union workers who are getting paid by the hour who need to like do things, you know? There's like those reunions are very timed out with breaks, with things like that. So yes, you're wasting time. But anyway, sorry, I didn't know the point.
So no, because they were getting on a Sprinter van. Everybody's on the Sprinter van, and she comes on the Sprinter van 2 hours late, making the ladies wait.
Yes.
2 hours. And she goes, hi, I'm here. And Stephanie goes, what are we supposed to applaud you? Like, do you want us to give you a round of applause for showing up and gracing us with your presence? Do you know how rude you are? Do you know how disrespectful it is that you're 2 hours late?
Not the first time. It's not.
Yeah, she goes,
being late to a Sprinter van for her. It's not the first time.
Lisa looks at her and goes, I don't know who you think you are or why you think you can talk to me like that, but I've heard things about you, and I've heard that you don't have a lot of friends anyways, and now I can see why. And Stephanie goes, yeah, bitch, I don't have a lot of friends because they acted just like you. They're rude, and I don't deal with that shit. And I was like, oh, I love Stephanie. I love her. I love her.
It's going to be good. She's going to, I think, elevate the season. But I do have to say, I think it's the beginning of summer. You know, we've had a holiday or two. And hopefully it's just that. It's just a slow start. Hopefully. I
Yeah.
mean, we'll see when OC premieres this week. We'll see like how their numbers match up. And yes, everyone says, guys, don't look at the numbers. Everyone streams. Right. But the networks look at the numbers from that first night out to see the interest, because if you are that interested, you're going to jump on and watch it as it comes out. You're going to watch it on cable, and then later you can take on those streaming numbers into context. But no, it is worth looking at those numbers, and even the streaming numbers are not up. So it is interesting. It is interesting.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But guys, really don't sleep on it. Now, anyways, I wanted to go over to the Valley.
Can we stay on Miami for a second? I'm so sorry. Matilda just brought something up really good in the live chat. She said, Adam, are you shocked that nobody said anything about the drink throwing? What was that, 2 episodes ago? Not one person said anything wrong.
You mean on the cast?
To Julia. Yes.
Unless
it was edited out.
I think that it might have been edited out. Honestly, that did change my perspective a lot on Julia. I think that Julia is a clown at this point. And I'm going to say, I'm going to say this because you literally, yes, you struggled with the fact that your wife had cancer. And well, I've never been around somebody with cancer. Thank you. And I don't wish that on anyone. Well, my mom had breast cancer, but I didn't live in the same state, nothing like that. But, she was a part of that journey, and you watched that and you watched how it affected her, how it is debilitating, how it's exhausting. And that Gertie also went through the same thing. So just the blatant disrespect of this bullshit storyline that she's putting on her when the text messages and everything came out proving that Julia totally manufactured this storyline as just like a calculated move, which I hate. And then you throw a drink in her face after she came out of cancer and she's still struggling with her, like everything. You're trash. You are literal trash.
Well, without the name calling, but
that's trash. That's trash.
She puts this perspective. I know, but you don't need to meet her at her level, But like you put it into perspective.
I didn't throw a drink in her face.
This woman, likes to show that she likes the quiet life and the farm and. What does your dad always say? It takes a lifetime to build a reputation and a second to ruin it. One slight action. And that's kind of how I feel about Julia in this instance, because I've always kind of liked her. She's kind of been like that middle Switzerland, person. And we've watched her build friendships with people. But that's a lot. You just adopted 2 new boys. Your wife just fought cancer. And now you should be so happy and elated that Martina is recovering, that you have the new kids. You shouldn't be, throwing. And it wasn't just a throw. It was a throw. Let me empty this shit. Let me get the ice. I'm not even doing that. Let me get the ice out of the glass. Let me make sure it gets on your face, on your dress. And it was volatile. It was horrible. Horrible.
Here's the thing too. And I've never actually had this happen to me. I've never had somebody sit across from me and throw a drink in my face. And
I'm pretty sure you have.
Who?
I don't know.
I don't think I have.
No. Oh, it was a cigarette. Jax.
Yeah, Jax threw a cigarette in my face, but that's different. That's even worse. But even this, and then on the next episode, since you got me started on this, the next episode, when she shows that she sent let me tell you guys what happened. She came on the show with Adriana Demora. They were thick as thieves. She came in from a friend role to a full-time housewife role because she has Martina. That is just the truth. Martina is a legend. She's a household, people know who she is. And that's what elevated Julia's status. Well, when she started, her friend was Adriana Demora. And then somehow she ended up weaving her way in with Marisol and Alexia, who hate Adriana. And she switched. She switched from this very humble, happy, sweet, yes, love, okay, over here to where it became a little bit more calculated, and she is striving to do things for the show. And you can see that from a mile away. And honestly, I'm proud of Gertie. I'm proud that you kept your composure, because if somebody threw their glass of water in my face, I would grab the glass and I would just probably conk them over the head with it. It would be so bad. And no, I haven't.
We said that. We said that on the recap after that episode. We were talking about how she took in Kiki's advice because Kiki was explaining to her that the girls think she's a little much, which I don't think I've really seen that from Gertie. Like, to be honest, maybe once in a blue moon.
Like Lisa Hochstein is a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. You're 2 hours late. Everything's about you, no matter what. No, I think she took that advice. She took it in and she didn't react, which is the best thing she could have done. The best thing. Yeah. I might have left. I don't know if I would have had the I don't know, courage to stay. I'd be like, girl, I'm out of here. I'm out of this wedding. But then she's also there to support Marisol. So, but it is funny, and not to stay on Miami, I'm sorry, but to watch like Marisol and Alexia, who I used to really, really love. I'm slowly seeing that they're just mean girls. It's really interesting.
Yeah, but you know what I like is I never like a twosome usually that stays a twosome for a long time, like Giselle and Robin, Lisa and Erica, Whitney and Heather, like Tamara and Vicky. I don't really like the twosome kind of way, because then when one of them wants to have beef with another person, then they come in pairs. And usually there's one person who's just like sucking off of the energy and being able to stay on the show because they are a part of this united front. Anyways, at the end of the day, I like that Marisol on this season is holding Alexia accountable for her relationship with Todd, because she's like, what are you doing? This is silly. It's ridiculous. And like, it's time to move on. By the way, he just bought, after the divorce was finalized, he just bought a $4.2 million penthouse condo with a 2-car garage that is on a car lift into the unit, just like their other place. 3,000 square feet. Ay.
Wow.
He was like, I'm going to wait till this divorce is finalized and then I'm buying the condo.
That's right. No assets. I don't know what she is doing, and I'm glad that someone's holding her accountable. I think these girls, there's so many other things to focus on besides Alexia. I hope we're not going to focus our entire season on Alexia.
I mean, she's just a built-in storyline, though.
She is a built-in storyline, but so are they all. I'm loving the little feud between like Lisa and Larsa. I hope that picks up, again.
It will.
And I want to see what Stephanie brings to the show. The Julia and Gertie, like, this is more interesting to me because we're not, when she says, "Oh, I'm seeing Todd again," it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, you really, really need the attention to be on you, and you're really, I don't know. I don't know.
No, she does. She needs the attention to be on her. But listen, I love the cast, because people were saying, well, we want to recast for Real Housewives Miami. No.
And then people keep saying, oh, we need to bring back, God, who is my favorite? Why am I not thinking of her name?
Who?
Why are you like this?
I was scratching my arm.
What was her
like
name?
In it. I'm like listening.
Joanna. Everyone's like, oh, bring back Joanna, bring back Leah. It's not.
Never.
I promise you guys, we've had 3 seasons of this cast, and the cast is like really, really solid. Like, the cast is good. We're good with the cast. If anybody needs to be full time, it's Kiki, not Marisol or Adriana.
Well, and I love the fact that Kiki now is showing her kids and her family, and that might be what they're gearing up to do with her, is make her full time. But
yeah, that'd be solid.
So we're gonna move on from that. Now I'm gonna play another clip for you guys. Like I said, I'm gonna go take this over to the Valley because everybody was running wild with this. And what was said was that Janet Caperna, after receiving tons of threats, tons of disgusting messages, and I listened to the clip. Like, people were saying, I hope you die. I hope your plane crashes with you and your whole family so your kid can't even have babies one day so we can stop your bloodline. I think that, like, racist thing. It was so bad, the messages that she was reading. And then it bled into her family, where people were then attacking her family, sending terrible messages to them. And when I was talking about it while we were in Orlando, I said, it's kind of funny because, not to be Vicky Gunvalson right now and make it about us, but even being on the platform like YouTube provides us, which we're so grateful for, you get trolled and you get people that are so gross, and you see the messages, and half the time, like, Jason filters the comments before I can even go through, because people can be really evil. And so
horrible. I mean, we've even had, and not to make it again about us, but I don't know if it was an interview or something else, but like, people were threatening your dad on Facebook, And it's just like the people are, you know, you're watching TV, right? How real are your feelings about these people when you don't even really know them? You know what they're portraying, you know what the story is. You know that even if you don't like them, it's just on TV. You're just watching it on TV. But people have to make it such a thing now. It's kind of scary. The world is scary right now with that kind of thing.
You know what's scary about it is that it's like you don't, yes, it's so, it can be easy to ignore things, but when people come on and they are so emotionally charged in the comments and they're saying like, I wish you to be unalive, and like they get in detail,
Dude,
I think that's when it takes it to a scary level, because, you know, there are so many people who have been stalked and taken out, and just because you're on TV or on a platform. There was a podcaster, she only had 1,000 reviews on a podcast network. She was living in Seattle. There was a truck driver from Texas who was obsessed with her, drove to her house, killed her in the middle of the night, and her husband. The mother-in-law got out, called the police. Police had a standoff with him in the house while he was going through all of her stuff. He was a super fan, and the police ended up killing him. But I'm saying, like, it's scary. It's scary. So long story short, people thought that Janet Caperna and her husband ended up fleeing the country, and this is her message.
Hey guys, I've had a bunch of people reach out asking if we're okay. There was a headline that came out that said, Jason and I fled the country because of the hate we've been receiving lately. I think that came from our podcast, This Side of the Hill, that Jared and I recorded last week, where we addressed some of the hate and haters and messages that we've been receiving. But this is a much needed planned family vacation we're on. We are in Switzerland, and it's been lovely. But I just want to say thanks to everybody who has reached out, both friends, family, and strangers. We are good. And if you'd like to hear the podcast where these headlines came from, instead of, you know, the clickbaity headlines that sometimes get out there, you can hear it in my words. I'll put the link below. But I really appreciate everybody. And we will be unfleeing and returning to the United States. Hi, guys.
I actually kind of like that.
Page 6 did that, by the way. Page 6 always does that. Page 6 twists everything in the book times 15, because they don't have a good team, in my opinion, over there. They just sit there and make shit up all the time and twist things, because that is the clickbait thing.
Sorry,
hold on,
giving
though.
You the flowers. You're so right. It was Page 6 who started the rumor.
100%. You know, we hear these things. We get a lot of stuff sent to us. So, like, when I looked at that, I'm like, that's not. First of all, just a few weeks ago, she was asking for recommendations of what to do in Switzerland. I'm sure she's getting a ton of bad feedback. Like, this is her season of bad feedback, I think. But like, and yes, I'm sure it was a nice break for her to get out. Again, you guys got to go listen to the podcast, but she wasn't fleeing the country. This is the kind of shit that drives the shit we were just talking about. When Page 6 does this kind of thing, and they drive narratives with their clickbaity things. Like, it's different if you have, like, you're putting a video up and you want to be like, someone is exposed. Well, they were exposed. Yes. Is it dramatic? Of course. But when you're saying someone's fleeing the country because they had death threats and making it this thing, you're just driving more crazy people to do stuff like that. I don't like what Page 6 does.
No, like Rosie O'Donnell fled the country and went to Ireland because she hated Trump. You know, like Ellen fled the country and left to England because she hated, like, those things are true. Like, they fled and left and whatever. She went to Switzerland. Santavia, I see where you said, why would you say where you are? Because she said Switzerland. Well, at least she didn't say, like, you know, true. I feel like, yeah, honestly, I didn't post very much in real time, by the way, like even in Orlando and stuff, because I had a bad feeling. And I don't know why, like I always say this, like my intuition. And I knew that my mother-in-law was at our house watching our animals. And I was like, I don't want to post that I'm gone. Cause like, what if I don't know. People scare me all the time. They scare me.
Well, people are scary today, especially here.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, Janet did not flee the country. Tom Schwartz also, I saw this.
Is safe.
She is safe. And
not
Tom
from the
Schwartz,
show, but she's safe.
No, she's safe on the show. She's that, what do they call it? The antagonist?
Oh, I'm talking about from fans. I know she's not going anywhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's been saying lately, like, I wish we could get Janet Caperna and Stassi on the same show. Stassi would eat her alive. No, guys, you don't want that. Stassi would rip Janet a new asshole. We don't want that. Okay.
And everybody else.
But
But then it would get old.
But now moving on. What I was going to say is Tom Schwartz is a moron, because I don't know why Tom Schwartz and Jax wanted to come out and say this, but he, I guess, was having a panic attack or like an anxiety attack out at a bar. So Tom Schwartz said, "Here, let me help you, Dr. Schwartz," and gave him a Xanax and a beer. And it like made the anxiety attack worse. And I was like, we'll just keep watching The Valley, you guys. All right. So,
you know, two negatives don't always make a positive.
Moving on. All right. So guys, we know that especially if you're watching Channel 2, I've been covering a little bit about like the Grizzlies, what they're doing. If you guys aren't aware, now that they're out of prison, they are moving from Nashville to Charleston. Miss Patricia ended up posting a comment on the article saying, "There goes the neighborhood."
I mean, legit.
Legit. But they're buying a big mansion and turning it into like a bed and breakfast or something, and they're going to be filming the show while they're doing all of this. So they're already back to being like multi-millionaires again. Good for them. Well, I think because of the way that they got this presidential pardon, there are so many other people who are so hopeful that maybe their family members might get a presidential pardon, including Gia Giudice. Here we go.
Hi guys, my name is Gia Giudice. I'm the daughter of Joe Giudice, and today I'm using my voice for something deeply personal. My dad was deported over 4 years ago. Since then, our family has lived in an emotional limbo. No matter how strong we try to be, the absence of a father, of a parent, is something that never stops hurting. Growing up, my dad was present at every cheer competition, every dance recital, holiday. He was our provider, our protector, and he still is, just now from thousands of miles away. Watching the Chrisley family receive a second chance inspired me. It showed me that people can be forgiven, that families can be restored, and that sometimes the justice system has room for grace. That gave me hope. Hope that me would come home too. A pardon would mean more than just legal forgiveness. It would mean healing for my sisters, for my mom, for my family, and for me. We've missed birthdays, graduations, even the small moments that matter the most. This isn't just about one man. It's about a family who deserves to be whole again. I'm using my platform to speak not just as a public figure, but as a daughter who deeply misses her dad. We are not asking for sympathy. We're asking for a second chance. So let's bring Joe home together.
You know what? Honestly, even though you're like, you gotta give it to the daughters, like Savannah Grizzly, Gia Giudice. The fact that they are still continuously like advocating and using their platforms, trying to do something, and the fact that Savannah did make it happen. Like, if my dad or my mom was deported, I would try to do everything that I could. So I'm not going to sit there and be shady to her over it.
No,
like,
listen, 100%. It would be nice to. It's nice to see families together. So I understand where she's coming from, and you got to give her that. That's her dad.
Yeah.
And after this much time, maybe it is time, but like, pardons are.
I mean, he didn't kill anybody. He was here since he was 2 years old. He just never got a citizenship, which was stupid.
Right. But you don't have to be a citizen to get a pardon. Just FYI,
right,
guys.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, I mean, listen, if maybe it will work, and that'll be the storyline of, I don't know, next year's Next Gen NYC or Real Housewives of New Jersey.
If he ends up pardoning Joe Giudice, it would be one of those things, like it would be at the end of his 4-year term, and it would just be like, at this point, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, because that's going to be on any president's mind.
You know what I mean? Well, no, but I'm saying, like,
got to get that pardon, Joe. No,
but I mean, no. But don't they normally, like, on the last day or whatever? Isn't that when they always are like, okay, well, I'm gonna pardon like 90?
Well, yeah, they do. So a lot of presidents, especially recent, and Trump first round, or what, first term. It feels like a round, but first term, and then you have Joe Biden and Obama. They all on their last day give a ton of pardons, like a lot. It is not new. It is not new.
That's what I thought. That's what I was talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
So last but not least, I did want to talk about this for a second. My God, you guys know Leah McSweeney is still suing Bravo right now because she is claiming that they put alcohol in front of her, knowing that she is a known alcoholic.
We've been through this.
Right. Now,
like, girl, your response when you hit wait, hold on, because I hate this shit. So, you know, I have certain family members that don't step up and like take their risk. All their decisions are not their own, you know, now that they're in their 30s. Leah McSweeney is a full-grown adult. She can decide to make decisions for herself. There is nobody holding a gun to her head saying, drink this and throw tiki torches across the yard and run around naked. No one told her to do that. Not one person.
It's interesting because Leah's attorneys are pretty much saying that they feel like Bravo is attempting to move this into a private arbitration because they want to conceal some of the facts and they don't want the public to know what an awful network they are and what they've done, right? I don't look at it like that. I don't, because her claim, what she's alleging is that Bravo pushed her to relapse for ratings. That is her claim. This is what the whole lawsuit is about, that Bravo pushed her to relapse for ratings. This is the most ridiculous lawsuit ever. But I don't think it's that Bravo is trying to keep it private in order to hide or conceal certain facts. I think that Bravo keeps all of their lawsuits private. And I think that the goal here is, one, so there's, you know, out of sight, out of mind, unless it's like you and me on here talking to other people who are in the live chat, or they're TikTokers who are covering it. It's not just like major media news, you know? The more you can keep it out of the public, the better for the network. And then people can focus on like the shows. But then two, I think when you see lawsuits, it sparks an idea for certain people. You know, like for example, when one person sued Subway because their sub wasn't 12 inches long, like a foot long, how it's advertised, it was 11 and a half. They went in, they measured it, and they won a $5 million lawsuit. So then some other bitch ended up doing the same thing and won a $2 million lawsuit. It's like it sparks ideas for other people to sue once they're fired.
Absolutely. Or the coffee being too hot and then burn your tongue.
McDonald's.
Yep.
Yeah. My God. So that's
people can't think for themselves. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
You know, and
if you're a known alcoholic, why are you getting on reality TV anyway? If you're recovering, why wouldn't you just step away from that lifestyle completely? You know, Housewives involves some sort of drinking.
It doesn't even need to. Margaret Josephs doesn't drink.
That's true. That's
you know what I mean? Like Kyle,
you don't
Richards
have, but that's the
drink.
thing. You have the choice. It will, but you also, that's what I'm saying, is you have the choice. Like that
Lisa
is up
Vanderpump
to you.
doesn't drink.
Not on the show.
No, I'm kidding. Oh, she doesn't drink on the show?
It does. I mean, not like drunk. I've never seen her drunk. She drinks all the time on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that woman has like an IV attached to her at night when she goes to sleep. She has to. But the point is that there are other people who are actually sober who don't get drunk on the show. Dr. Nicole Martin is literally like, you know, she's going and she's doing a 16-hour shift and then filming. She's not drinking while she was on the show. At the end of the day, the woman started her business Married to the Mob by suing the police, NYPD. She clearly has a history with lawsuits that seem like they're kind of phony. And I think that this is another point to that, but we'll see what happens, guys. I wanted to give you an update. And the other update, I don't even know if people even watch this anymore, but if you guys do, Bachelor Nation has now officially fired their casting department and hired Bravo's casting department because the ratings are declining. And I'm like, that's
so
probably
you went from bad to bad, kind of.
Yeah, you know? That's probably not a good idea. And then I did want to show you guys this. Thank you to Bravo and Cocktails. These are your 4 newbies on Summer House.
Oh, they're the girls. That's Lexi? No,
it's Levi. It's either Levi or Levy. I don't know which one.
Levi, probably.
Levi,
Levy?
but maybe Levy. And then also the former Australian Bachelor, and then a guy named KJ. So these are your 4 newbies that will be on Summer House. And last but not least, I just wanted to show you guys something that really freaked me out. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Ariana Madix said, "I hate AI," and this was going viral.
Mistake. It might be the most dysfunctional and unbearable assortment of people ever created. You know, it's bad when we're all siding with Huda on something. Shelly is mad at her for getting to know her literal couple because Shelly wants Chris, but also wants Ace and is mad at both for not being fully devoted to her. Beyond that, Ace has crippling little man syndrome. Nick only locked in because Elin was lurking. Olandria can't take a hint. Taylor can't give a hint. Austin was casted to go home first and is somehow still here. Sierra can't stop affirming bad actions. TJ and Iris barely exist. Pepe is mentally married to Hannah. Grayson can't figure that out. And don't even get me started on Zach K. At this point, let's just send everyone home and give the money to Belle Dasha or something. See you guys then.
AI is getting stupid.
AI is getting stupid. All right, guys. Well, I think that we covered the majority of everything. If not, of course, you guys know we have TikToks coming out. We have other things coming out on Up and Adam channel 1 and 2. I'll also post polls for you. I think I'm going to run to the store and grab Jason some medicine. Jason, thank you for my birthday, and thank you for joining us. I love you. And guys, do all of the YouTubey things, the like buttons, the subscribes, and everything. Do you have anything to say before we go?
No, just we'll see you tomorrow for Anchor Watch.
Is there a live chat tonight?
Yes. There's a live chat tonight. There's a live chat tomorrow and Wednesday. We're actually having fun with that. It's a lot of fun. So if you guys want to go, we are fixing anything. I know that there is a problem. I believe it's on mobile if you use Safari on mobile. But you can go to upandadamlive.com and join us for the chat. Everything should pop up. We have a fun little group in there. So it is a lot of fun. If you go to the chat page, there's a watch party tonight for Below Deck. And right where it says live chat will pop up. It does automatically appear like 10 minutes before. Yeah, and it's just fun. We put some real feelings in there. So
sweet. And then we have more, obviously, you guys can see more articles that have been coming out. You can see our latest videos. You can see the podcast, the team, everything in between. But yes, all you have to do is click on the chat right there. And that way you guys can partake with us.
And you know what I love about the site too? It's not just another breaking news site, right? We don't break a lot of news unless we really need to. But it is a very curated read. So every article that comes out is very curated. We have a lot of recaps, opinions, and things that kind of explain things and go behind the scenes as well. So check it out. It's a lot of fun over there. We have a good team. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Happy Monday. And I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye, guys.